Hello, everybody. Welcome to another exciting episode of Jimmy's JamBox. We're here. We're back at it again, and we're going to get on into it. But before we do, as always, please make sure to like, subscribe, push all the buttons, do all the things. You know, I don't know where they are, but you do, and I trust you. With that being said, here's a quick word from our sponsor. Organic herbs and botanicals, skincare and edibles, wellness for body and mind. The Brothers Apothecary. Fine teas and remedies. All right, thank y'all so much for watching again. Shout out The Brothers Apothecary. Make sure to click the link below and go check them out. I guarantee you're going to like it. Make sure to use code JamBox for 20% off and a free gift. And with that being said, let's go ahead and get on into it. Here is today's guest.
Cracking, y'all. I'm Jordan Fletcher out of Portland, Oregon.
Hello.
What's up, man?
Hey, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me, dude.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about who you are, where you're from, what you do? Give us that Tinder profile of your involvement with music.
I ain't on Tinder, man. I'm as stated previously, I'm Jordan Fletcher. Mm-hmm. I'm a hip hop artist out of north side of Portland, Oregon. And yeah, man. I'm grateful to be here. Thanks for having me, man. I seen some of the homies on the show, so I said, why not? Let me stop by and see what's cracking.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and dive on into you from the beginning. What got you started in music initially?
Damn, man. Initially, so my godmom, she was an artist in the local Portland area, and she went by, her name was Angel, rest in peace. And she was the biggest artist I've ever seen locally. I didn't even know local artists were big until I saw her.
Oh, damn.
And and it's funny because she was a Christian rapper, right? She reminded me of a female E40.
Okay.
But for God.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Whoa, that might be the coolest description of somebody I've ever heard ever.
It was dope as fuck, man. And she used to cut my hair, and I went to her barbershop and she showed me I could see her album covers on the walls and stuff. And I heard her music, and I was just always so inspired by it and motivated by it. And when I was younger, I was more into sports and stuff like basketball, football. But I remember after I met Angel, I started to kind of that inkling of creativity of artistry kind of came alive. And so I think in my middle school music class, I got on GarageBand and started trying to learn how to do shit, and would borrow my mom's computer. Me and my little cousin would make music on the computer and shit, and learn stuff. And man, that's kind of just where it started. I used to make songs on the computer, showcase it at my aunt's house in front of Angel, my aunt, my mom. Me and my cousin were performing in the living room type stuff.
Oh, hell yeah.
And it was just something I did on the side. It wasn't nothing I was thinking I wanted to do.
Yeah.
I was always man, I'm going to the NBA. I'm going to the draft. I'm going to New York. That didn't happen, but
fair enough. Well, I mean, you've definitely got the vertical stats for it,
man,
for sure.
That's almost, man. I thought I was tall, but I looked at
those dudes are big.
Yeah, 6'3" is the smallest you get in the league, and I was always as a big man, so they had me as a center. I wasn't learning what I needed to learn.
Fair.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I get that. I mean, I get that in concept. I am definitely not capable of that. I mean, I'm not sure, but I'm not tall enough.
Yeah.
And I guess, first of all, that's really cool that you had access to that opportunity so early on. Not a lot of people get to dive into it. And it sounds like your household was pretty supportive of music in general.
Oh yeah.
Did your parents do anything musically, or was it just your godmom is the main person?
So just my godmom, but when I got older, I learned that my grandfather on my father's side was super he was super into music. He was in a rock band. He played guitar, did a bunch of stuff, and I never met him. So
gotcha.
Yeah, so it's just crazy that I actually did have that
Yeah, there was a degree of separation, but it's kind of been in the family.
Exactly, and it found me through that. And so, yeah, but Angel was my first, like, introduction to it. And, you know, she was very,
very supportive?
Supportive, yeah. Thank you. She was, like, very supportive with it and, like, wanted me to try stuff, wanted me to do stuff. If it sounds weird, you know, when you got your headphones on, you're making music, it sounds weird to everybody else.
Yeah.
But you know what's going on. It's like, even if it sounds weird, do it.
Hell yeah.
Don't delete nothing, you know.
Oh, that's such good advice to give somebody when they're, like, young and malleable.
Yeah.
Like, especially not deleting anything. Like, that shout out. That's quality advice right there.
Biggest piece of advice. Because there's so much stuff you're like, I'm never going to do nothing with this. Delete.
Yeah.
But you don't delete it because you never know. There's songs that I've heard that I made 3, you know what I'm saying, years ago that I go back to and I'm like, I was onto something.
Yeah.
You know
and
what
like,
I mean?
You could even take parts from it and do things with it from there.
Yeah.
Like, that's, you know, I mean, we'll get all of that in the middle for sure. But that's a really cool way to start for sure. I guess before I move into the next question, does your cousin still do music?
Oh yeah, that kid, you know, shout out my man J Star, first of all.
Hell yeah.
He's a genius, yo. He grew up in a church playing piano and stuff, so he could play by ear.
Yep, he just got that.
He's just he's just very well versed with it, and you know, we always would bounce music ideas off of each other. Like, that was my go-to dude for a long time to start off music. So,
yeah, well, I'm glad to hear they're still doing music as well.
Yeah.
But we've got a couple more foundation questions I want to dig into. And this next one, it's one we ask early, it's one we ask often, and it's definitely a crowd favorite. What was the first album you ever bought with your own money?
With my own money?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, this says one answer.
Yep.
My first album that I ever bought, actually, no, it's 2 answers.
Yeah, go for it.
I'll give you my first answer, though. My first physical album that I purchased was Wolf by Tyler, the Creator.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Oh, man, it came out swinging.
Yeah.
Came out swinging.
That was probably my favorite album. It was my senior year, I think. That was my favorite album ever.
Oh, I mean, Tyler in particular is a phenomenal artist through and through. Like, his progression in music is just
ridiculous,
unmatched. Like, you know, anybody can say whatever they want about the like difference of his old stuff to his new stuff, but the man has never been afraid of change and expressing it along the way.
No, I think that the music in like the industry, or you know what I'm saying, like for the art of music, it needs someone like that to push norms and to try new things that might sound weird or look weird, or just it really promotes creativity, and I think that's what's missing out of everything.
Oh, I mean, that's a whole episode of discussion for sure.
We don't got time for that.
What was the other one?
The other one I bought digitally was Earl Sweatshirt Doris.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, so I was an Odd Future kid for sure.
Very much so.
Yeah.
But I mean, hey, another quality choice.
Yeah.
And then what was the first live show you ever went to? That was like one you wanted to go. So again, you saw it was happening. You got the tickets. You went to it.
Dang, the first one that I ever bought, I think it's a Tyler show, for real.
Okay, hell yeah.
I think it's literally So there was this one day, Tyler was performing at the Roseland, and there was an E. coli outbreak, and it was like in the waters and whatever. And so that all the grocery stores, you know what I'm saying, it's doomsday, so all the water's gone.
Yep.
You can't buy nothing.
Yeah.
No Dasani, no Aquafinas. You got tap water and it's disgusting.
Yeah.
So I go to the show and we're all in the crowd dying.
Yeah.
If you've been to a show like that, kids are moshing, kids are going crazy. It's basically like a little football workout. It feels like an NFL combine.
Yep.
They come out, they're going crazy, and they're throwing water at us from the stage, like as artists do, right?
Yeah.
And it's in my head, I'm thinking like, this is like the most apocalyptic feeling ever. I'm in the crowd dying of thirst and I'm getting splashed out with water.
Yeah.
Watching one of my favorite artists perform. And it's like, I don't even know like what I'm doing right now, but this is crazy.
Damn, that sounds wild.
It was a time to remember for sure.
Who did he have on the show with him?
I think that was back. So this is probably after Wolf.
Okay.
Shortly after. So he had all of Hot Future up there. I mean,
oh damn,
Asper, Taco is up there. I don't think all of them, but he definitely had like majority of like the Odd Future family up there. Like if you ever watched Loiter Squad,
Yeah.
I think he had like Lionel up there. He had,
Okay.
like, everybody up there.
You gonna bring me a gift on my birthday?
On my birthday? Young nigga.
Yeah, that sounds like a fucking cool show.
Yeah. Just despite drowning of
Yeah, I mean, you know,
yeah, no, it was unforgettable.
it was heightening your other senses.
Exactly.
That's what it was.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it really showed that I did want to be there.
Yeah. I'm sure everybody there was moving with intent.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Any energy spent was with the gained experience of the show.
No, I didn't last up to it. I was in the front. I was literally like hands on the stage, and I was like, I'm going, dog. I can't do this no more.
Yeah, I wish I still stood at the front for things. Now I'm like, there's a seat.
See,
If I can see good, I'm gonna be there.
See, but I grew up going to like, that wasn't like, I grew up going to like metal shows.
Yeah.
So like, I saw Slipknot when I was like 8 or 9.
Oh yeah.
And that was like, I think that prepared me to go to like,
definitely.
This is fine.
Yeah, no.
I was like 8 or 9 years old getting beat up. So.
Yeah. No, the first live show I ever went to was Ozfest 2005 up in Seattle.
Oh damn.
Yeah, like it. That's some of you may not know that, but I'm in that origin of music as well.
That's a crazy time.
Yeah. Oh, that was a party. But we'll get into that. This isn't my episode. It's your episode. So let's get back into it. And we've got one last question to go before we get into you in the current day. But this one, I guess, would be the turning point. What was the moment where you decided you wanted to take music more seriously?
I think it's a great question. First of all, I think that moment for me was, probably in my early 20s when. I mean, I was always a freestyler, rapper type person. Like I said, I always treated it like a side project sort of thing.
Yeah, it was a hobby.
Yeah. And I think like once I got a little older, once those like hoop dreams kind of died out, and once I realized like, man, I gotta, live my life like an adult now and like have whatever, like a job and stuff. I needed somewhere to escape. And basketball for me was that, because I had the dream of like, I could get out with this.
Yeah.
Once that went away, I was like, I don't really have that no more. And so that side hobby of music ended up becoming more like a therapeutic session. And like, I started to actually not just rap to rap, but like rap about what I'm going through, rap what I'm thinking, and
do it with intent,
substance. You know what I'm saying? And so I think like when I turned like, I was like 23. I was living in my grandma's house, and I was moving into my own place. And one of my homies that I worked with, shout out Trash God, he had a MacBook. He said he didn't really need it or nothing. This was a nice laptop, man. Yeah. He sold it to me for $500.
Damn.
And I was in school at the time. I got my financial aid, and I was like, fuck it, whatever you need. Got the laptop, bought all the equipment. Man, I had like a Black Yeti.
Oh, Blue Yeti?
Blue Yeti. Yeah, it was black though, but I had that. I had my computer, bought a little desk for my kid, moved into my spot, and I was just hungry and sat there just trying to figure it out. Downloaded Logic, like just started getting into it. And I think the more that I started to do it, the more I got comfortable with it. I was like, man, I really want this to like kind of work. Like I really want to, I don't know why I wanted to, but I was drawn to it.
Yeah.
And I think around that time was when I was like, I'm going to pursue this. Like I'm going to keep going and make this my new like dream, make this like what I wanted it to be with Hoop.
Oh yeah.
So it's funny because with Hoop, I didn't really, it's funny because I wasn't really drawn to it, or I guess like working as hard as it when I was younger, but like it kind of like always there.
Yeah.
And it like became the biggest thing to me, but it was always relevant, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that sounds like a great way to get like, trying to think how to word this right. Like that progression, that like acknowledging that it's kind of always been there, and then like making it kind of the real thing, and seeing that you like have always kind of like lived in the space, and like, you had such a good opportunity to like be supported for it in the beginning. Yeah. So like you were able to foster it in such a natural way and give it a space to grow. Yeah. By the time you realized that it was what you wanted to do, it had lived in a place for so long that it was ready to grow as well.
Right.
And that's really cool. Yeah. Before we dive into it, this is whenever somebody says they did sports for a while and then moved to music, I always have to dig in on this secret thesis I'm working on. What are some of the similarities that you found between like music and sports in both like practice and performance and things like that?
It's what did Drake say? Rappers want to be sports players want to be rappers want to be
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's the same thing. It's everything's synonymous. The work you put in, like when nobody's watching, is what makes you prepared for the moments when everyone's looking. And you know, the competitive nature of it. Like I'm naturally just very competitive. So whether it's basketball or someone who says he can guard me, you can rap at it and you can't. Like I feel the exact same way about each one. Like I don't care if me and my friends used to joke. I used to say I could get 15 points on LeBron. I probably can't get 15 points on LeBron.
I mean, I'm sure if you play long enough, you could.
Maybe. For like 3 days. But I mean, it's just that mentality of like, nah, I can do it.
Yeah.
And whether it's foolish, you know what I'm saying, that's out of question. Because the second you start to think that, I can't do that.
Yeah.
You won't. Right. So for me, it was always similar because I was just as like hungry and just as like I don't know, I had this just like instinct about me where I was just like, I don't care who's in front of me, like I'm going at you. And I feel the same way with music. Like I don't care about what y'all think is this, I'm gonna do that. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Hell yeah, no, I love that.
Yeah.
And thank you for going down that. Like I said, I just every now and then I get somebody on who's like, yeah, I was a track star for 12 years. So it's like, what is running and music like? Like, yeah, there's
marathon. Yeah, shout out Nipsey Hussle.
Hell yeah,
rest in peace.
But now let's go ahead. Let's get on into you in the current day.
Yeah.
And we're gonna get what I think is gonna be a really easy one out of the way. How'd you pick the name?
Oh damn, that's a hard question. Jordan's my middle name.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so there was a little bit of a twist on there.
A little twist.
Oh, yeah.
Jordan's my middle name, and then it's still my name, but
yeah,
it just went that way.
I guess route. What made you decide to go with like your like actual name and not like a stage name?
I mean, and when I say this, I don't mean it for people who do it. I think it's corny. For me, like I understand people who do it for their own art and their own image and marketing, branding. Totally get it. For me, my whole thing is just authenticity. So it's like, I'm not going to go around about trying to figure out a name.
Yeah.
I'm just going to own who I am.
No, I dig that.
You know?
I mean, I named my show Jimmy's JamBox. I took half of my real name as well. My real last name is JamBox. No, I'm kidding. That'd be, what a weird twist that would be if I'm like, my first name's actually Michael.
What's up? I'm Michael JamBox. That's a crazy ass
right?
name.
But yeah, no, I mean, like, I get that for sure. And I think, it's definitely one of those things where it's like, you have to be comfortable introducing yourself as whatever name you pick.
Yeah.
And so if like your name is what makes you feel most comfortable, why not?
Man, I remember when I started going as Jordan, I wasn't responding to it because only like my mom really called me Jordan.
Yeah.
And she would only do that when she's like pissed at me.
Yeah, it's like if you heard the middle name, you're like, ooh,
yeah,
I know, guys.
I did something. Yeah. So it was like I wasn't even responding to it when I'm in public. Hey, Jordan. I'm just walking by. Oh, shit. Yeah, what's up?
Oh, that's me. Sorry. I thought you meant Michael for a second. My bad.
Right.
No, I get that. And I mean, at least you went with something that is in your real name so you could adjust to it eventually.
Yeah.
Like, it'd be different if you were like, yeah, I'm going to name myself Tyler. And it's like, has nothing to do with you.
I have no connection to the name Tyler.
Yeah. I dig that.
Weird.
Now let's go ahead. Let's talk about your writing process.
Oh, this is fun.
And we're going to break it up into chunks, but we're going to start right at the beginning.
Okay.
So when you get inspired, you're ready to make music. What are some of the things you do to get a track started?
Get a track started, man. I mean, it's changed. Like, so when I made my previous album, I mean, that was such a different time. I probably would have like smoked a joint, sat there, and just like feel out a beat and then just start rapping. Now, man, I just get a cup of coffee, put a beat on, and then I just write. And I use that time to like kind of figure out what I want to say. I don't even perform or put on the song what I'm writing. That's more so to kind of like just get my brain going.
Yeah.
And then when I'm done with that, I do my process and just rap to the beat. And then it like comes in bits and pieces. Like sometimes when I hear the hook for how I want a song to go or something like that, I'll keep the hook where that is and then work on the verses. But my verse structure is strange. I work like in this weird, like something I learned with Angel when I was younger is, 16 bars, count them out, 1, 2, 3, you know what I'm saying? Like each bar or whatever. But sometimes for me, I like to move my bars. Yeah. I see like, oh, the third bar sounds better at the second bar. It's like a puzzle, you know what I'm saying? And so like, I have to write down what I want to say and then I structure it together to make it make sense. Okay. Hell yeah. No, I dig that.
There was somebody I was talking to on a past episode. I apologize to everybody. Every time I do this, I never remember the like name or specifics. But she would write down everything in a book. Like she would like physically write it all down, like anytime she had an idea. And then she would trim out part, like if she would like be like, oh, I remember I had something in this, like from this concept, she would go and actually physically cut it out and like put it in like as that part of the song. So like as time progressed, like little bits and pieces would get trimmed away from the concepts. Oh, but like okay. She didn't like, she would be like, oh, this can go anywhere with that approach. I thought that was really interesting.
That is dope because then you're just taking your own ideas, keeping your ideas in like an area where you can pick from them. That's smart.
Yeah, and I liked the idea of them being tangible. Like I thought that was cool that she would actually like physically move them to the place where they would go. Right. But I mean, like, music is so modular. Like sometimes an idea that you start with doesn't even have to be the idea it becomes. You know what I mean? Like you could just use that as the jumping off point and like, well, there is no deleting anything. You can be like, let me get rid of this from this project or take this one part, move it over to something new. Yeah. I've had plenty of projects where I'm like, I like this second verse. It has nothing to do with this song. I'm just going to take it and start a whole new song off of it and come back to this other idea later. Right. And it's like sometimes then you end up with like 2 songs. Exactly. Oh no.
You don't realize how one session. You don't realize how many ideas come out of one thing either. Yeah. So you can always just pull and pick from whatever you do.
Yeah. Especially if you are working with a beat that's a little more like modular, like if it's got a weird middle part that you're just like, oh, okay, I can't like transmit my flow into this part properly, but I keep coming up with this during this part. So let me explore this because this is clearly jumping out at me.
Yeah, yeah. And like for a long time, I didn't even write for a long time. I would just...
I guess, yeah. What made you transition to that instead of just freestyling all the time?
It depends really. Like if I have more of an upbeat kind of song or like where I'm like flowing and it's higher energy, I don't really need to write because what I'm saying is kind of secondary. It's more like what I'm trying to give you and feeling. You know what I mean? So the words will come to me. But it's like when I want to say something and I have something to say and I want to make sure that it comes out the right way and I'm telling it in a structured form.
Yeah, really getting the message out there.
Yeah, I gotta write it and go boom, boom, boom. I have to play off of each line. Because, that's how I do it. Like, each line feeds off of the last.
No, that makes sense. And definitely listening to your music, I can tell, like, where those moments and, like, when those approaches stand out. Because that is a prominent structure in your design for sure. Yeah. But before we talk about your music, because we have a whole bit for that coming soon. But I'm curious to know, once you get a track finished, so it doesn't have to be, like, released per se, but once you finished writing it, how long does it usually take you to get comfortable to the point where you've like memorized it and can perform it?
Probably like a week. Okay. Not that long. Will I ever release it? That's I suck at that, dude.
That is a whole other can of worms.
I have a hard drive full of just music and it's just sitting there, dude.
Damn. Yeah. Damn. Well, surprise, we're releasing it all right now. I'm kidding. Yeah. But no, dude, I get that for sure. And that is the infinite struggle, I think, is like deciding when something is ready to put out there. Yeah. Because it's the opposite of the don't delete. Like once you put it out there, there's no more editing. Like you can't do stuff. But I mean, that's actually a good segue to talking about your music? Because like, I know, I was checking it out and like you'd started putting out music in 2019, but it kind of stops after 2020 as far as like release stuff goes on Spotify.
Yeah.
But your most recent album, which was Somewhere Off Alberta, such a cool album. Or Somewhere Off Alberta, sorry.
No, you're good.
It's really good. It's really good. I mean, the beat selection was awesome. Your flow is super well defined. I really like your use of dynamics. That just stands out. And your ad-libs. Your ad-libs are so cool. Like it just, they sometimes they would be like big and screamy. Sometimes they would be like short and punchy, but like they were dynamic in their own way. So there was this additional like dynamic in a part that already had that. Like I keep using that word, but it really just, it had all these moments. And I usually do this bit where I pick out one track and I'm just like this, like I'll talk about this, but I had to pick two. Oh. So I'm pulling a U here. I had to pick two. And they were back-to-back choices. First of all, North Part 1.
Oh, yeah.
That track was tough. The beat slapped. You were gassing the whole time. Like that was just, I actually sent that to someone else because I was like, this sounds like a beat you would make. You should make beats like this and send them to this person. But then the one after that was Toxic Masculinity. And that highlights the other thing you were saying, because it was such a raw track. There was nothing hidden in it. Each line kind of fed into the next line. And I mean, they were all like really insightful. Like I had originally typed down one I was gonna read out and then I had to take out because it would just fill up too much space. But every single line in that had like a memorable aspect to it. It had kind of a moment attached to it. And I mean, you were really saying some stuff.
Man, that's just, first of all, those two songs are crazy. I'll get into both of them, but for Toxic Masculinity, I mean, that's just shit that I've dealt with, I think, growing up forever. I've always been like the more like, I don't know, I guess sensitive. Like I have a very good, like, I probably get this from, I don't know where, but I have this very like, my emotions are kind of like my best quality, I think, when it comes to what I do in music. And I feel like a lot of times growing up, you're looked at a certain way for having those emotions. You're looked at a certain way for being able to like be aware of those emotions. And I mean, the hook of that song is what you hear. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, man. It's a constant struggle. It ain't gonna ever disappear entirely. But I think it's nice to put stuff out there because there's probably someone out there who's having to go through some stuff that I had to deal with.
No, very much so.
You know what I'm saying? So I always think that like telling a story or telling your story is like the biggest thing, because that's all we got at the end of the day, man. Yeah, no, definitely. And I mean, it's such a real track. You know what I mean? Like like you said, it's definitely something people can listen to, and it's relatable, but it's not relatable in the way where you're like, yeah, I'm going to want to do that. You can hear it and be like, oh man, some of that stuff is like, especially for like younger people who are like really trying to like figure out steps in life. Like hearing that early on can like really impact somebody and be like, oh, I didn't even realize that some of those things were what this is. Like, I mean, as a black man, even younger black teens or just being a black male figure, you get a lot of like, at least I did, I won't generalize. When I was growing up, I got the aggressiveness term, or, I'm tall and big. So I got like, oh, he's, aggressive. So it's just like, that's what I like to try to break that, because that's not always the case, man, like at all. Like, sure, everyone can be aggressive. Sure, put them in the wrong right type of situation, but innately that's not what we are. Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, no. And I mean, I think that track really does a good job of just exemplifying your ability to tap into that. And I mean, again, you didn't miss on it. Like you still brought talent to it. And I mean, the whole album itself kind of has that, like, I mean, like we won't even get into like, what was it? Make It Home. Like that. I mean, that track was just so smooth. Like, honestly, as I got into it, I realized it was hard for me to pick any song off the album. So like, really, I'd like to adjust my pick to the album, because as soon as I started to dive into your self-titled EP, I was like, I got to stop. Like, I'm going to keep making notes. But like your style in particular is really well defined. Like, I guess I don't usually do this, but I am curious to know, like, what is stopping you from putting out more music? Man, I think I've been struggling with that for a while. I have music, right? I have a whole album sitting ready to be dropped.
Yeah.
Whenever I decide to. I think what it was is that I saw a glimpse of like what popularity and what spotlight does to people. Shit scared me.
Yeah.
I don't ever want to like, I don't know, like I don't want to forget who I am.
Yeah.
Type of stuff. And I feel like the more I was in the center of that, I was forgetting who I was. So, you know, I'm a human at the end of the day, and I pride myself on not conforming who I am for the sake of whatever that means I get in return. But I've never been asked that question why I haven't. It's always been an internal struggle. Well, I won't say never. I mean, my girl asked me. Like,
I'm sure people are like, "Well, we're getting more music."
Yeah, no.
And I mean, like, but I mean, it, and that's a very good answer. Like, you know, I mean, not that there's any wrong answers to that. It's your music. You put it out whenever you want.
Yeah.
But I think that from a listener standpoint, somebody who has experienced your music now and genuinely enjoys it, I fully understand that, but at the same time, you have a real gift. You know what I mean? Like you are very good at what you do. People have said very good things about you and your music in general, just prior to you being on the show. And so I think just from that certain point, like, you know, you have talented music, and I think that the world will enjoy more of it. Yeah. So, if you need a reason or a push in the right direction, like, please, I would love to hear more, because eventually I'm going to have listened to this too many times where I'm going to know all the words. I'm going to need new words.
Right, man.
But now we're going to segue into what is normally the next question. Thank you for going through that, though.
Yeah.
What is your favorite track to perform?
My favorite track to perform. Whew. My favorite track to perform is probably none of the songs that are out.
That's all right. That's all right. I mean, if you've performed it, it's existed in the world before.
Yeah. My favorite song to perform is the song I have made called Tales from the Rose Garden.
Okay.
That I haven't dropped yet. It's kind of like a tribute to Portland. It's, in my own words, just like what I think of the city and what it means to me. And
which seems to be a recurring theme in a handful of your music.
Yeah.
And I mean, even off camera, we were talking about like the city in general.
Yeah.
It seems you have a big attachment to this area. I mean, I feel like you've grown up here pretty much your whole life.
Yep.
And I guess this isn't so much a question, just an acknowledgement that it seems to be a recurring topic.
Yeah, it is. I think it's I don't know, man. I see so many people do so many things in their own towns and then they leave them.
Yeah.
And I never want to be that. Like, I want to, like, if I ever do anything with this that puts me somewhere, you know what I'm saying, like, where I can take care of more than just myself and my family, I want to give back to the place that made me. That's just who I am in nature. And I don't know, man, the city means a lot to me. This is my home.
Yeah.
And, you know, even though it looks a little different, even though it has its, and this is a lot of what I had to forget or remember, just because it has some ugly marks or some stuff that I wish didn't happen or whatever, doesn't mean it isn't my city anymore, and doesn't mean that I don't have love for it.
No, it still made you who you are today.
Exactly.
And that, and that every place changes like over time. Like, I don't think anybody can go back. You know, you talk to the old heads and they're like, I remember when this was all field. You know, everything used to be field. Like, that's neither here nor there. What do you want me to go demolish 20 people's house to put an orchard again? Like that, time progresses.
Right.
But I think the acknowledgement of who you are and where you're from, that stays with you forever. And you can grow with it. And, I mean, like, look at artists like, Swiggle Mandela, shout out Swiggle.
Shout out Swiggle, man.
That he is somebody who puts on for the space. He is somebody who puts on for the city, who puts on for the place. You go up to Seattle and there are artists like Oblé Reed who are like, they are like, this is where I'm from. This is what I do. Yeah. And that's important, and that stands on something, and that shows people that it's important. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if you go back to like music for pretty much all of like that we grew up on, they're always talking about where they're from. Yeah. And that matters. Like, you always want to put on for your city. And a lot of the people who get for, look at Jay-Z.
Right.
Like he has never let you forget that he's from New York. Like he will never ever for any, you know, like, and that's important. So
Right.
I get that for sure. And I really respect that.
Yeah. I think it's a big part of any artist's blueprint.
It should be.
Yeah.
Also, nice Jay-Z reference. I see what you did there.
Not a rapper for no reason.
Now let's go ahead and let's talk about some music that hasn't come out yet, and you know, it could be music that you're performing now, stuff that you're working on currently. What are some of the sounds of music that hasn't come out yet that you enjoy? Like, what are some of the stuff you're working on, and like the characteristics of it that are like different or the same, or like how would you describe it?
I describe it as like mature, kind of growth. Like I can hear more growth in my headspace and my substance in comparison to the previous album. And I think that because the previous album, man, it's a pandemic. It's a protest. Life was different. And
there was a lot going on.
Yeah. And it was a lot of just noise.
Yeah. There was a lot going on that wasn't by your own design.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I feel like I was telling a story of what I was around. For that when I hear what I'm making now, it feels like I'm telling my story of where I've been and where I am.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's more of like it's a different perspective, it sounds like.
Yeah.
Or like, I guess, different view.
Different view for sure.
Yeah.
It feels like I don't even know what's a good comparison. I was gonna do some Marvel movie comparison, but I can't think of one.
Like it's like Logan instead of X-Men.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's
kind of cool, actually.
Okay. There you go. You can use that when you put it out there. It's on the back cover now.
Yeah.
And then now I want to zoom out. So we've talked about your music all the way to the music that hasn't come out yet.
Yeah.
But stepping back and looking at music as a whole, what are some of the things about music of today that you enjoy? What are some of the things and like approaches and stuff that you're like really enjoying about music right now?
Dude, I listen to a lot, like Jordan Ward, like his type of artistry. I don't know if you've ever listened to him, but he has this very just like kind of smooth, but like R&B sort of vibe.
Yeah.
But it's also not. I don't know how to explain it, but it's like musically amazing.
Yeah.
And he has a song called White Crocs. I listen to that song probably like 1,000,000 times.
Oh yeah.
It's like one of my favorite joints. I love like Saba. I think he's like one of like the most underrated artists out there. Who else, man? Isaiah Rashad is always a go-to. Yep. Sylvia Demo still gets tons of play in my vicinity.
Oh yeah.
Kendrick, of course. King Kendrick. He just got a dub.
Yep.
I ain't gonna get into it, but
damn. No, I mean those are all quality names for sure. And I mean
Schoolboy Q.
Ooh, there we go. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Blue Lips, man. Schoolboy is probably one of my favorite artists.
Are you familiar with an artist named Blue? Just BLU?
It sounds real familiar.
Definitely. Like, I mean, I try not to wreck too many things on other people's episodes, but definitely go check them out if you like haven't actively listened to them.
Okay.
I think you're really going to like them.
All right, bet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now before we move into the next portion, which is all hypothetical questions, and those are a lot of fun. We've got one last one to go, and this is probably the densest question in the interview. But we've talked a lot about your experiences with music, the actions, the reactions, the things you're doing, things you're working on. But when it's just you and music one-on-one, what does music give back to you?
Great question. Music gives me like a space. I'm in my head probably more than I am out loud all the time. Music gives me that like soundproof room where it's just me and my thoughts out loud and in the way that I can say them. I feel like I verbalizing words for me gets difficult sometimes, which is funny because when I write them down in music, they all make so much sense to me. It's like I make my own emotions click with what I write down. And so I feel like music for me is just like another language to like express myself. You know what I mean? Like when I can't even understand it.
That's a really cool answer. Yeah. No, I liked that description of it's a soundproof room because like eventually it all ends up out anyways. But like the concept of it being somewhere where you can let you out inside of a space. Yeah. That's actually like an imagery that I've never like had explained in that way before. So that's a really insightful approach to it. Yeah. And, thank you so much for sharing that.
Of course, man.
But now let's go ahead and let's move on to some hypothetical questions.
Felt like an anime person.
And for these, skies are the limits. The questions are all made up, so the answers are allowed to be as well.
Let's do it.
But this first one's pretty straightforward. If you could perform with if you could work with any one person, the only requirement is they have to be alive. Who would you want to work with, and how would you want to work with them?
Kendrick, man.
Damn. Hell yeah. You know, it's funny. That's exactly the name I was thinking on in my head too. I was like, he's going to say Kendrick.
I didn't want to. I knew I was going to say it too.
I mean, that's such a good answer. Oh, boom. There it is.
It was Kendrick though, for sure.
Yeah.
Or Vince Staples.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Damn, that's a good answer.
Vince Staples is probably.
Damn. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I wish I got that answer more, to be honest. That's a really good choice.
He's slept on, man. Vince is like, I would love to do a song. I would love to do a song with Vince.
Yeah. No, I mean, the man is definitely talented in a lot of ways too. I don't think he gets a lot of the attention he deserves, but he's out there. Yeah. He's out there. I think it'll come with the right time.
I think that Netflix show is probably going to help him get what he deserves too, a little bit. I liked it a lot. I think I got a lot of mixed reviews from what I saw, but
I don't have any streaming services, so I haven't seen it yet.
What?
Yeah. What? Yeah. Thanks to doing this full time, I got rid of all of mine like a year and a half ago.
That is the most hustle answer I've ever heard in my life. I don't watch no streaming services because I'm 100% grinding.
Yeah, I mean, it just wasn't worth the money. I wasn't watching anything.
Yeah, man.
I mean, now that I know he's got a show, I might have to find somebody who's got it, and and hang out at their house for a day and check it out.
Yeah, no, it's only like 30 minutes it's 6 episodes. It's like not 30.
Okay,
minutes. That's a lot. It's probably like you can watch it all in a day in like an hour or two for sure.
Are they like 30-minute episodes?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's like 3 hours.
Yeah.
That's not the end of it. That's a long movie. That's a Lord of the Rings uncut.
Facts.
Oh yeah. So definitely gonna have to check that out now. Thank you.
Yeah.
And then subsequently, who's a local artist that you're aware of that you haven't gotten to connect with yet, but you would like to?
That I haven't gotten to connect with yet. Man, I know a good amount of people, man.
Or at least haven't gotten to work with musically. Let's put it that way.
Oh,
yeah.
Shoot, the list goes on. Shoot, Mike Capes, Off Tops, man.
Okay, hell yeah.
Northside legend.
Mm-hmm.
Milk. I don't know if you know Milk.
Yep.
Milk is the white Mike Capes. Or what do you say? Mike Capes and White Face. Yo, shout out Milk. Shout out Capes. Let me think. Let me get one more in there. Well, I ain't worked with, man. Shit. Let me think, man. Oh, definitely Boca.
Okay.
Damn, and as I say this, I remember we definitely were supposed to have something cooked up.
All right, well, everybody, you know what to do. At them all in the comments.
Definitely Boca.
We can make that happen.
Shout out Boca, man. Shout out the whole produce squad. Shout out everybody, man. Shout out Portland artists in general, man.
Oh, yeah.
We got a hard task here where we live in a city where hip-hop is not really given a chance.
It's true.
We live in a city where people tell you, your spaces tell you, we don't want to have, hip-hop shows here. We're trying to move away from that. We want more of this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, we got it hard out here. So you got to really be creative with how you get your word out there and so I got love and admiration for people in this city that try to make music, man.
No, definitely. I mean, that's kind of the whole design of the show here for sure.
It's an uphill battle.
Yeah. No, I always say this off camera, so I guess this will be a good time to bring it on. The DIY scene here is insane. It's so incredibly capable.
Oh yeah.
There are so many people who are like, I don't know how to make this happen. I'm going to do it myself.
Yeah.
But we've now got 20 people with their own sound system, 30 people with their own stages, 30 people with their own spaces, and like 50 people with their own like ways of like reaching people. And it's just like if like 10 of them all came together and like put their stuff in a space and like let it exist for a while, untouchable.
Crazy.
There would just be an untouchable amount of stuff coming from here, and it could all be designed and structured but everybody is out here doing their own thing, and it's really impressive to see the amount of work that's being put in just to give anybody an opportunity to let themselves be heard at the moment. So I agree with you. I think Portland music in particular, and like Vancouver music, Seattle music, the Pacific Northwest just has this hunger, and it's fed with knowledge.
Yeah.
We are so close to
we're on the brink
bridging that gap.
I think.
Yeah.
There's too much talent here for it to not, in this region, for it to not one day just
exactly
expand. You know what I'm saying?
I think we've spent so much time on the fish in the pond.
Yeah.
Now we just need to spend time on making the pond a lake.
Yeah.
That's really what it comes down to, is fostering the area around it and cultivating in a way that will allow it.
Yeah.
But I think we're doing a lot of it from the inside out, and maybe it's time to figure out more of the outside.
Mm-hmm.
And that, I'm in here doing this all the time, so I don't have any suggestions on that.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see, once we break through that glass ceiling, really get to the point where music stands on its own.
It's on its way.
Yeah.
I don't know when. I don't know how. If I did, I'd make a lot of money. But
hey, I think, like you said before, your approach to the music is very much the need to create for the sake of it happening, for it existing and existing properly.
Yeah.
I think once that narrative becomes more consistent overall, we're going to see a lot more of music existing outwardly, because people are damn, this doesn't feel like it's just being made to make 20 songs a month. It's not being made to just reach this or that. It's being made because it's some real stuff.
Yeah.
It's coming from a real place. And a lot of people in the area do that for the right reason. So it's just once it permeates the rest of the world around it and makes it known.
Yeah. Stop making music for the algorithm. Just do it for you.
Exactly. Exactly. I always say, once you become undeniable, you can't deny it.
Bars.
Yeah. But let's get back. That is the ultimate hypothetical concept. But let's get back into this. And for this next one, like I said before, sky's the limits, and it's pretty literal in this sense. But if you could perform anywhere in the world, and you wouldn't have to worry about crowd access or building stability or power, it's guaranteed the best lineup, guaranteed the best show. It doesn't have to be a venue. It can be anywhere, and it works in this situation. Where would you want to perform?
The Moda Center.
Hell yeah. I had a feeling.
Excuse me, the Rose Garden.
Yeah. Oh, hell yeah. I appreciate that for sure.
Yeah.
And I kind of had a feeling that was going to be the answer, but that again, that makes perfect sense just with your brand of being, for the city, by the city, of the city.
Yeah, I would love to perform there and make it the Rose Garden for a night.
Yeah.
Not the Moda Center, not just make it what it was, just for a night. And then they can do whatever they want after.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, that's definitely where I'd want to. It might not, to some people, it might seem like, oh, that's not, he's not shooting for the stars. Of course.
No, I mean,
that's local. That's easy. You should do that. Of course you could.
I mean, if it was easy, everybody would be there. You know what I mean? Still, that is where the big acts go to perform.
Right.
And to be there, to stand in the place where you've watched so many people stand to inspire your journey, that makes perfect sense to me.
I seen Travis Scott perform there, and I looked around when he was performing Fiend, and everybody was screaming the lyrics.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, damn, man.
Yeah.
I wonder what that feels like. I wonder what he's thinking right now. No music playing, but he got them screaming his lyrics.
Mm-hmm.
It was crazy.
Yeah, and that space is the space.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There are a million spaces that are the space for everybody, but that is the space for you. So that makes perfect sense.
Yeah. Yeah, that's my answer, man.
I mean, that's a great one. And then to wrap up the hypothetical questions, if you could get one more album from anybody, they could be alive, they could be dead, they could have not put out an album in 100 years, they could have put out an album yesterday. That would have been my choice.
Yeah, I'm just playing.
But who would you want an album from?
Mac Miller.
Hell yeah.
Mac Miller.
Yeah.
His last album before he passed, rest in peace, was Swimming. That album is ridiculous, dude. That album is crazy.
No, I mean, he was always doing something a little bit more than somebody in his trajectory should have been doing.
Oh yeah. I can't even comprehend what he would Like, I don't even know. Like, I would love to like see his process.
Yeah.
Because the stuff he comes up with is crazy. Like Self-Care, whenever I hear that song, it's just like, what were you doing?
Yeah.
Like,
well, that and like he was accessible to people for sure, but like so much wasn't known. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there was so many things that he just kind of went with him that I think would have really, you know, inspired generations in approaches. Like if like we had more understanding of like how he got to the place that he was like doing the things he was doing. And I mean, you know, within some understandings,
right.
But also I always wonder what would an album sound like from him now? You know what I mean? Like what would a post-pandemic Mac Miller album have sounded like? That would have helped so many people.
Oh yeah.
Like that would have just been such a powerful thing for so many.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I can't listen to his new albums that drop after.
Yeah.
Personally, I just don't know how I feel about that.
No.
I mean, I get it though. I totally get it.
Yeah, no.
It's just me personally.
I mean, I think they were done
prior.
No, I mean, I think they were put out in the right ways. They were put out by people who cared, you know what I mean? So like that's kind of the thing I sit on for it, is that like it's not like they were just trying to get a money grab out of it.
Yeah, I feel like with like Juice WRLD,
yeah,
some of his stuff felt like that was the case, or even like XXX when his stuff, like I just feel like some stuff after the fact kind of can get weird.
Yeah. Yeah, no, but no, I fully understand that for sure.
Yeah, but no, yeah, definitely Mac.
Hell yeah. All right, but we're gonna go ahead. We're gonna start wrapping this up. What can we look forward to between now and? Oh my God! Wow, nobody has pointed that out before. Ooh, I guess Trista did kind of technically. And she's like, "Are we gonna start rapping?" But no, Also, shout out Trista.
Shout out Trista.
But no, but what can we look forward to between, let's say, now and November?
Now in November, you're definitely gonna get a project out of me. I think I'm gonna drop an EP pretty soon.
Hell yeah.
And then after, I want 2 projects out by that time frame. Yeah, man, you're just gonna see me again. It's been a minute. It's been a while. And I get that itch every once in a while, like where I need to say something and do something. For me, that's when it's time to do stuff.
Yeah.
I move on what I feel like. So that's what you're going to get.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, man.
Well, definitely looking forward to
more Northside. That's it.
Yeah. Do you have any shows coming up?
I got one next week. Is the 16th next week, actually? It feels like it's supposed to be next week.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
If it's coming out on the 16th, this will come out before.
Yeah.
That,
so next Thursday we got a show down at the Big Legrowski.
Okay, hell yeah.
Thrown by my brother Justice Gabata. Shout out my boy JJ, my jail brother in arms. You feel me? Yeah, it starts at 9. So yeah, make sure y'all show up. We finna go crazy. You might hear some new songs, some new joints.
Okay.
So.
I wonder if I have if I don't have an interview, I'm gonna show up to that for sure.
Yeah, man, for sure. It's downtown. So we get pretty live there.
In my old band, Smooth Talk, that was the first place we performed.
Legrowski?
Yeah.
Oh shoot. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm familiar. It's a cool space.
I like it. It's small enough to be intimate, like with the performance.
Yeah, and they're pretty pro music happening.
Yeah.
Like, I really appreciate
one of the few spots.
I like how the stage has got a window next to it. Like you can see what's happening. It's like right there. Like it just kind of gives you that, like, we are displaying music existing.
Yeah.
And that's really powerful.
Yeah. Because when last time I performed there, I was looking out the window trying to get people to come in, because it's like
you got to get that wireless mic and just walk out.
Run out there. Yep.
That I don't know if they let you do that or not, but yeah, I mean,
advised.
You know,
I don't give a damn. I probably will.
Well, I won't stop you if you do. And then for the next one, go and look straight at the camera and tell everybody how they can find you.
If y'all want to follow me or stay in tune for any new music coming up, you can follow me on Instagram at North Jordan, NORF Jordan. Same handle on Twitter or whatever the hell they call it now. And then on Spotify and Apple Music, I'm under Jordan Fletcher. So you'll be hearing from me soon.
Oh, yeah. And then any other plugs, any other shout outs, anybody else you want to put on while you're on?
You know what? I wanted to add somebody to my local list, Wavy Joseph. If you ain't heard.
Oh, yeah. Shout out Wavy Joseph.
Shout out my bro Wavy. This nigga is crazy. Oh, my goodness. Never mind. I can't even speak on it. Sign some paperwork. Can't speak on it. But my brother is crazy, man. Shout out Wavy, man. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And then, you know, shout out to everybody just getting it, man. And if you fake, fuck you.
Oh yeah. All right, now we've got one last question to go. But before we do, I'm going to steal the camera for just a second.
All right.
As always, y'all, please make sure to like, subscribe, push all the buttons, do all the things. You know, I don't know where they are, but you do, and I trust you. And one more shout out to the Brothers Apothecary. Make sure to click the link below and go check them out. I guarantee you're going to like it. And make sure to use code JamBox for 20% off and a free gift. And with that being said, the final question. And this is entirely up to your interpretation. But what is an album you feel is more on the obscure side? So it's a deep cut. It's one not a lot of people would know, but it's one you think everybody should know.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say "Because the Internet" by Childish Gambino.
Okay, hell yeah. I love that album.
It's a classic to me.
I may or may not have it in vinyl right there. Yeah, big fan.
Man of culture. Okay.
That is definitely in my like weekly rotation, if not at least like 3 times a month. You know what I mean? Like it's one of those things where it's like when I need that familiar, but like I also need something that just like gets it.
Yep.
It gets it.
Telegraph Ave, Earn, I mean, Crawl, Worst Guys, like that whole, I love that project, man.
It's one of those albums you kind of have to, once you start it, and you always, like I always start it from the beginning. Yeah. Like I just go all the way through it.
Play it through whole,
Yep, every time.
Any other way.
Yeah. That's half the reason I got it on, that's like my kind of my rule of thumb for like things I'll get on record is like, if it's something I'm going to listen to cover to cover, I'm going to get it on vinyl because then it's like, you almost have to. Yeah. I mean, not that I don't also listen to it on, you know, on my phone and on like
Vinyl's
every speaker,
man.
But yeah, but it was one of those songs where it's like, I almost had to have it tangibly.
Yeah.
Like, but that is a phenomenon, and surprisingly, one that has not been said before.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. So definitely, y'all, if you have not listened to that album yet, you should. Yeah. But definitely do that after listening to Jordan's music.
Please.
Oh, yeah. But you know what? With that being said, we're going to go ahead and get up on out of here. Thank you so much for joining us.
For having me, man. I appreciate it. If you ever need me back, let me know.
Hey, you're welcome back anytime. And this has been another exciting episode of Jimmy's JamBox. I'm Jimmy.
I'm Jordan.
And we're signing off. Later, y'all.
That's a wrap. This is not a podcast. This is a show. Keep jamming.